I'm Bob Briggs, and in this video we're going to be building a survey from scratch. And when I mean from scratch, I mean from the very beginning. I don't even have a survey form on here that I'm going to start with. What we're going to do today is I'm going to load a survey, then I'm going to go ahead and fix it up a little bit, clean it up. Then I'm going to show you how to send that survey to a number of people. And then finally, I'm going to show you how to report on the responses that the different users who answered the survey provided. So again, we're going to go ahead and load the survey, fix it up, prepare it to be sent to a number of users, and then report on responses. Let's go ahead and start. Our first task is to load the survey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead into Tools and choose Designer Exchange. There's an option called Webigami Design Library. When I go in there, I can search for different free templates that I can load into my account. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Survey. And let's go ahead and load the follow-up survey. Let's see, that looks okay. I could also, by the way, look at other surveys here. Different kinds of designs that I could start with. But I'm going to go ahead and choose a follow-up survey because that's what I want to do. I want to create a survey that I issue to people so we can follow up on how well we're doing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and install it. I'll call it follow-up survey, that's okay. And it looks like it's going to be installed so I can see it in my apps area. So there it is, follow-up survey. I click it, if I click new, that puts me on the survey. So this is the survey that I just loaded. Now this survey doesn't look exactly the way I want it. I'm taking a look at here, this logo is obviously not accurate, so we may want to change that logo out. I don't really like the way the subject line appears. Maybe I want some nice background colors. Here it looks like people have to answer some questions, but it would be nicer if it asked them to select an answer, which it's not doing right now. And as far as these 4 questions are concerned, I don't really want these particular questions, and I'll probably want to add another question, so I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's go ahead and fix up this survey. So the first thing I want to do is change out the logo. So I'm just going to go ahead, go into the page designer, and choose page controls. And there's a section called title bar. And if I go into here, I can go ahead and change the general layout and actually, let's say, not use a logo. For example, if I selected this to change the layout, now that remove the logo, or if I really wanted to, I could change the overall use of logos in the system. I can actually go ahead into the account area, go to account setup, choose Webigami title bar, and there as well I can go ahead and upload a new logo. Right now that's the logo that we're using right here, but I could just upload a different one. Okay, now the second thing I want to do is I just want to change some of the background colors. So for example, over here it says follow-up survey and who it's from. I'd like to give it a slightly different background color. So I can just click the setting icon and then go to cell colors, and I'll go ahead and click a light blue. By the way, in order to remember what that background color is, I did the third one in, all the way to the right here, and the second one in. So the third in, all the way to the right, and the second one in. Okay, I'll apply that. That gave me that. And the reason I mention that is because I want to have the same color in the other cell. Since I remembered that, then I know it was the third one in, over here, and the second one in. And that's just a quick way to know that you're choosing exactly the same color. Now over here, I want the answers to have a select option in it. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. Once again, I'm going to change the settings, go to cell calculations. I'm going to set the default value to select. I'm going to grab that in my paste buffer so it's easy for me to apply it to other cells too. So now it's there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that to the other cells. Okay, and now what I've done is I've had a nice select option, so when the user goes onto this survey, they know that they're supposed to select an answer over here. The next thing I want to do is I want to add another question. So to do that, I'm just going to add another cell, and I'm going to have to add another possible answer over here. So to do that, I'm going to go into the page designer. I'm going to choose cell manager, and let's add a cell. It's going to be a display only cell because this part of it is for display purposes. No one actually enters any data here. I'm going to choose the display only. We're going to call this question number 5. Question 5. And let's see, what kind of question shall we ask here, or shall we add here? Okay, so let's go ahead and add a question such as, would you like us to reach out to you? Okay, and we're going to only make it a single line display, and let's go ahead and add it. Now, there are different little images here. Keep in mind the little guys over here mean apply that new cell and attach it to the existing cell that you have here. These big little boxes over here that are wider, that just means put the cell on the sheet but add it as a completely new area on the sheet, not connected to the other cell. So I'm going to actually connect it so it fills in the same column as these. So I'm going to click on this one over here, and you'll see it added it and it automatically aligned it. So that's just a little trick that you're going to want to know about. Now we want to go ahead and add another possible answer here. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to add a cell. I'm going to choose a text input, and we'll just call it answer, just like the others. And we're going to go ahead and call it short text because it'll just be a yes or no answer. And there it is over there. Now what we need to do is make a selection menu out of it, because it's not a selection menu just like the others are a selection menu. I'm just going to click it, go in here, other cell calculations, and you'll see there's an option called selection menu. This is going to be a manual entry, load manual entries. What I mean by manual is I'm manually putting in the entries. You can also create menus that read from other Webigamis or get results from a report that are basically more dynamic. But in this case, I'm manually going to enter the possible options for the end user. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. You can actually make a separation between what you see in the menu and the value that's stored. In our case, it'll be the same. And we're just going to provide a yes or no answer. Okay. And I'm done. And if I click it, you'll see there's a yes or no answer. Now, once again, I want to add a select in here. So I'm just going to go ahead in the cell calculations and set the initial value to select. And there it is. I got my 5th question I added here with my possible answers. Okay, so my follow-up survey looks the way I want it. Now, in your case, I'm sure you'll spend other time on it to make it look a lot nicer than I did. You can put a background image in this title bar area at the top of the screen. You can change the colors and so on and so forth. Our next step, though, is to prepare to send it out to a group of users. So, of course, a survey you want to send to a group of users. To do that, we use an option called Broadcast. So let's go ahead and go into Tools, and you'll see an option called Broadcasts. In this option, we can set up a new broadcast. So I'm going to go ahead and click New. Okay, so now we have to give a title to our broadcast. The broadcast subject area is what actually appears in the subject line of the email, or if we're texting the survey out, it'll appear in the text as well. Let's call the broadcast title Follow-up Survey. We'll call it Follow-up Survey number 1. And for the subject, that's what people will see. How about how did we do? So that'll actually appear in a text message that's sent out or in an email. Well, let's go ahead and choose the follow-up survey. Now, the set of users that we're going to send the survey to can either come from a user list, or they can come from users that appear on a report. I'm going to go ahead and select Send to User List, and I have a user list already with a couple people on it, so I'll just go ahead and select that. The next step is, when am I going to send it out? So what I can do is I can go ahead and send it out, let's say today, and how about later today in the evening at 9 o'clock p.m. Okay, so now it's set up for today at 9 o'clock p.m. Okay, and now we're done. And now we save the broadcast. Now we're not done yet, because while the broadcast has a schedule, it actually hasn't been enabled yet to actually send out. If we go ahead and click on this, I can put whatever extra information I need on here. For example, if you're sending out a survey, you're going to want to determine when that user that you've sent it to can no longer respond to it. So I'm going to go ahead and then give them a couple months to respond. Secondly, I need to enable it. So now I have an enabled survey that's going to go out. Okay, there it is. Notice it's no longer in red. So now I have a survey that's going to be scheduled to run at 9 o'clock p.m. The next thing that I want to do is create a report assuming that the people have responded to that survey. Let's go to the reporting system and I'll show you how to do that. Actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and save a couple follow-up surveys just so I have some information that will come up on the report. So I'm going to save this one as a draft, and then actually maybe I should have gone ahead and answered a couple of these. What are the product you're most satisfied with? Oh, I like the customer service. What are the product you're least satisfied with? Too expensive. Would you like to reach out to it? Absolutely. Please give me a call. Okay, I'm going to save this draft again. Let's go ahead and create another one. Okay, I have a couple in. Now let's go ahead and create a report. What I can do, I can go to the page designer, and I can go to extensions and reports. And now we can create a new report. Now if we just start and select all of these, all the ones except the voided ones, create my test report, and that'll give me a report, and of course it shows the two drafts that I just saved earlier. Now of course on our report we want to have other columns than what normally comes up when you first create the report. So our next step is just to change the columns to what we want. Let's go ahead, I'm just going to go to the report settings icon, go to report columns, and let's just start adding or taking away columns. So I think the date is important. The from is important because the from will be the person that it came from. So if we send out, for example, 10 surveys, 10 people get it, when they go online and fill out the survey, it's going to say it's from that individual. So the from is very important. The date is also important. That's the date that we created. A folder, well, we're not using folders here, so let's go ahead and delete that column. Subject, that'll tell us which survey we sent out since our survey has a specific subject. And notes, well, we don't care about the notes on this as well, so we'll delete this column. Okay, so that gives us 3 columns that we have. Now the question is, what other columns do we want to have? Let's go ahead and make this a report on whether or not we need callbacks. And to do that, let's go ahead and add the column for the last answer. And that's going to be the last answer, which is really the callback. So if I go ahead and out of this, it's updated. So now I have a callback report. By the way, since I called it my test report, if I wanted to, I could just change it to my callback report. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to go to name report, and I'm going to change it to my callback report. So there you have it. We now have a report of people who responded, but we're asking for a callback. You notice this has an answer yes, this one has an answer no. Actually, let's go ahead and add one more feature to this report, because it would be very nice if we're running the report and let's say we wanted to drill down from this report right to the survey itself. So we can add a drill down to this. We just go to the settings icon, and there's this drill down. Let's enable it. Okay. And now we have a way to go from the report to the survey itself. So for example, if I was looking at that and it looks like this person wants a callback, I could just drill down, see the answers. I could then go back to the report, look at another one, take a look at that, and go back. Okay, so there you have it. We've loaded a survey, we fixed it up, we set up a user list to send it out to a number of people, and we created a report that looked at the results that came back from the survey. If you have any questions or suggestions, just leave us a comment below or send us a message on our customer support line. We're here to make your operations great.